Hey guys, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin' with Sid from 3 Mississippi. I'm actually outside of church and my post office here. It's Sunday, but for you it's Monday, so happy Monday. Hope y'all are doing well. It's Thanksgiving week already. Can you believe that? I don't know. I still can't believe it. And it's this week. I mean, I've got all my stuff together. I've already started some of my Christmas shopping and stuff, but I definitely, I'm still, I think, in shock. I'm like, wasn't it just summer 30 seconds ago? I know I said that last week, but I feel that. Guys, I had a lot of people really concerned about getting a new puppy from that same litter. So I just wanted to address that real quick. Yes, I did mention that Kusi, the dog we have now, is the last survivor of that litter. What happened was, it was actually Nash and Kusi that were the last survivors of that litter. I'll get into that in a minute. Nash was the runt of the litter. And sometimes, if you've raised animals before, you know that sometimes when you have a runt, they end up having other issues that you don't know right away. That happens. And so there's congenital issues sometimes, there's development issues, and that seems to be the case with Nash, that she was the runt of the litter and that that something with her kidneys did not develop right and she had some congenital issues there. We had tested her for every single thing that there was and she came back negative for every single thing that there was. We did x-rays, we made sure there was no obstruction. I mean, you did it, you name it, we did it. And it's just sometimes when you have a runt that happens. I really think that is what happened in this case. It's unfortunate, but that what happened. The rest of the litter, there is nothing wrong genetically between the mom and dad passing anything awful, that they happened to be the only ones that lived. It wasn't like they just accidentally laid down and died or anything like that. We'd had an incredibly crazy heat wave. And my friend, who is the owner of the dogs, was gone for a couple of hours. She had to take her daughter into town, a couple towns away, to the doctor, and was gone for a few hours during this heat wave. During this heat wave, we had it was like 110% humidity, and it felt like it was 120 degrees outside. I mean, it was so hot that just walking outside, it was hot. Like, people were struggling, right? And I've lost poultry before in extreme heat. One year I lost half my meat birds that were literally 3 days away from being processed to a heat wave where we had 114 degree heat. And it happens, you know. These were really, really young babies. They had just been born, these puppies, and unfortunately she wasn't there. And the person that was watching them was doing their best, but they didn't make it. And these things happen, you know, they're kind of out of our control. She was devastated. It was no one's fault. It just is the way it happened. You know, and for any of you who say, well, why didn't they bring them inside? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Let me just say that they had them set up as safely as they could to keep them cool. And their house did not have air conditioning. There wasn't anywhere else to put them that would have been any cooler. And you can't just stick ice packs on the puppies, and you can't, you know. So anyway, I hope to not have to answer that again. There is nothing wrong with the genetics of those dogs. I am not concerned about getting another puppy from those dogs. So hopefully that kind of puts that at ease. But still very excited to get a puppy out of that litter. Cannot wait. So, and this week, Thanksgiving, you know, it's funny, during the holidays, you know, we have different schedules. You know, there's not as many activities in some ways, but in some ways there's a lot more. because we have special things at church and dinners, but not like the normal schedule of like youth group and certain activities. So I'm helping with a few things over the next couple of weeks, and I may have bit off more than I can chew, but I think I can do it because I think they're spaced out enough that I can multitask and do it all. Right? That's what we hope. I'm excited to see if I can do it all. I think I can. I have faith in myself. I think I can do it. And I just, I feel like it's good to be involved, and it's good to be involved in the things that matter to you, especially during this time of year. So I try to sign up for things that, I guess, speak to me in that sense. So it usually involves feeding people is usually the stuff, that I like to do. And so I think I've properly signed myself up for enough things for the next 2 months that I'll be pretty busy. But I figure, there's not a lot that I can do around the farm once I know we're fixing to start having, it's beautiful today, but tomorrow we're supposed to get like rain coming in and whatever. So I've got a fun little project that I'm kind of finishing up at home, for something neat that I've wanted for a while, and that'll probably be in, I might be posting that video, as you're seeing this today on 3 Mississippi. We'll see how the YouTube gods are to me, but normally, you guys know we post on Fridays and Sundays on 3 Mississippi, our edited videos. This week I had some problems with Friday's video, which kind of took up most of Friday for me. I still posted Friday's video, but it posted a lot later, and it was a lot of back and forth, and I had a lot of stuff I was taking care of, and so got behind. And so then Saturday I was fixing to work on this project and film it and whatever, and it just ended up taking way longer than it should have, in my opinion. And all these things happened. Our friend came by to pick up the tractor, and there was stuff going on, and I had a raging headache. Like, I would say it was teetering on a migraine, because I was getting the waves of nausea, and like I was having to go, oh, okay, don't throw up, and I don't get those very often. I mean, I could probably count on both hands the amount of times in my life that I've had that kind of migraine where I've either wanted to throw up or did throw up. But I've been having real bad headaches for the last couple weeks. Like, pretty much they're not as bad. Like, right now it's not as bad. It's a very dull, like, I almost wouldn't think I have a headache right now, but I can, when I stop and think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's there. But I've just learned to kind of live with it, I guess. And I know it's because I have a bad spine, I guess you could say, in many ways. And so when things are not aligned correctly, things get out of whack and out of kilter. And I had a doctor who was really good about kind of fixing me and putting me back together, in California. Out here, we do have a decent chiropractor. He's very good, but I think I have some specific things that maybe he's not as familiar with. I don't know. So I haven't quite been able to get the same relief from going. But I do think that I'll get it under control. I'm trying to do all my stretches and all the things I know to do to like get it calmed down again. But I just have like solid knots basically all around my neck, and it's just causing headaches. And then my hip is out, so that's causing me some pain, but it's manageable. I just have to, it takes me a while to get rolling in the morning, because it's like it takes it time to like wake back up. And I'm a very active person. I mean, I exercise every day, I do my stretches and whatever, but it's been taking me longer and longer to get to the point in the morning where I can do that, because everything's sort of locked up. Welcome to old age, right? But I will get past it. But anyway, so I've had these crazy headaches. And I know part of it is, it's a twofold thing for me. And I know that because I've dealt with it my whole life. Because I was basically born with a jacked up spine to some degree, and causes my shoulders to be out of alignment and my hips to be funky, and the one leg is a little longer than the other, and all that good stuff. So it just causes some issues. And I know too, with the weather shifting, it's causing some of that too, because I get like a mild sinus thing combined with that, and then it's like a whole thing. But I'm fine. I'm fine. But you know, moms, we gotta keep doing our thing. And so anyway, so yesterday I was on Sunday, I was trying to finish up the video that I needed to then, or I'm sorry, on Saturday, I was trying to finish up filming the video that I needed to then turn around and edit. And Mike came out at one point and said something to me. And I think I looked at him like this, and he's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I have a migraine and I'm just trying to focus and get this done because then I have to turn around and edit." And he's like, "Why don't we just not do that?" He's like, "Just get to a point where you're like, you don't want to, you know, you can stop or whatever." Because I was sort of in the middle of building something. And he said, and then just like chill tonight, like just go inside, eat dinner, and like we'll deal with it tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So that's the plan. So when I get home today, I will deal with that and finishing filming it, and then I'll work on editing it. So maybe I'll be posting a video on Monday on 3 Mississippi. I don't like skipping or messing up our schedule, but every once in a while I have to. Every once in a while you have to make adjustments in your life for things like that. But that's okay. You know, that's okay. That's life, you know, and we're filming our life of the things we do and the things that are happening, and we're showing you and taking you guys along for the ride. And sometimes because of weather, or because of a computer failure, or because of one of us being sick, or whatever, we don't get to film or edit or post on time, and that happens, and that's okay. I just have to be okay with it, and that's hard because I'm like a keep to a schedule by the book kind of person. So sometimes I struggle with that. I'm like, no, we're supposed to have it done on this day, and no, it has to be this way. And so that's a little, Mike's way more laid back, way more laid. Sometimes he goes too far the other way, and I think he'll be the first to admit that. Maybe not, because I just admitted it for him. So maybe he'd be the second to admit it. But like there's times where he's so laid back that I'm like, but this needs to get done. Like, it's very rare that you see him in I don't think he has a panic mode. Whereas I spend 90% of my time in panic mode. I'm like, but I have to do this, and I have to get this done, and I have to do that. But it's fine. I'm gonna spend some time with Frankie. We're gonna have a little girl time, on Monday, and then Monday evening we have a community-wide service at another church where our pastor will be speaking. So we're gonna go to that Monday night, and the nice thing is that it's late enough in the evening that Mike will be able to join us for that. So that's nice. And then Tuesday, probably just kind of like making sure I have Friday's video squared away and done. And then Wednesday, I'll be baking, and I'm going to make some scones. We're going over to our friends and neighbors in the morning on Thanksgiving, which was the same thing we did last year. We have like a brunch with them. The same people we have Sunday lunch with every Sunday. And, well, almost every Sunday. Unless somebody's sick or too many people are out of town or whatever, then we kind of say, we'll do it next week. But I'm going to make my scones. I'm making cranberry scones this year. Frankie prefers blueberry, but the blueberries were not looking good, and you have to use fresh. You can't use like blueberry pie filling or anything. They gotta be, you know. So I was like, I really like, and I prefer the cranberry scones, so she'll be fine. Anyway, my scones is one of the favorite things she makes. Maybe I'll film it, maybe I won't. I have done videos on making the scones before. They're in the archive somewhere, but it is one of those things that I either make my cinnamon rolls or my scones on Thanksgiving or Christmas, whatever. So they share it scones. And I make my cinnamon rolls like from scratch, and it takes 2 days. So it's like a whole thing. There's probably like 47 pounds of butter in my cinnamon rolls, and there's a decent amount of butter in the scones too, but not as much, but quite a bit. So anyway, I'll be making my scones to take to brunch on Thanksgiving, and then I'm excited to just kind of like, we're gonna just watch Christmas movies. I got a small very small, likely a hen, because it's very, and it's just the breasts and kind of like on the body, if that makes sense. Because I didn't raise turkeys this year, so we didn't have our own turkeys. And I don't know, Mr. Bob just walked by. It looked like he was walking to my window, and then he like made a sharp turn. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna make that, and I'm gonna make some green beans casserole and a little bit of sweet potatoes and my mashed potatoes, which I'll start the night before. Fun fact, my favorite thing is to soak the potatoes the night before. I soak them, I basically brine my potatoes. I've already got my turkey brining. I made my brine the other day, and so it's brining in the other fridge in the garage. And then what I'll do is I'll prep all my potatoes, clean them, cut them how I want them, and then I salt the water, I garlic the water, I put parsley in the water, a little bit of rosemary, a little pepper, and I let them sit in that for overnight. And then I take that pot and I let it sit on the counter a few hours before I'm going to start it boiling, and then I get it on the stove and start cooking them, and then, you know, drain them off, etc. But I tell you, it makes a very big difference in the flavor of your potatoes. And I've seen some people that like to cook them in the milk and whatever. I like my system, and I'm the only person that I know that does that. That was something that I came up with several years ago by accident, and discovered that it really made the potatoes that much more flavorful. Because, you know, sometimes when people make mashed potatoes, they can be kind of bland, and it's not just because they didn't like season them, it's because they just didn't soak up the flavor. I'm telling you, if you brine your potatoes and then just cook them in that salt water with all the seasoning and everything, you are golden. You will have the best potatoes you've ever had in your life. I'm not even kidding. And then, you know, sometimes I've put sour cream in them a few times. I could go kind of either way with that. I prefer it old school, with just then only adding my salt, my pepper, and my milk and butter. Obviously, real butter, none of that margarine, plastic crap. And then, depending on the situation, I'm either done at that point once they're mashed. Sometimes I'll make cheesy ones where I add cheese on top and bake them off. Sometimes I'll just bake them off with butter on top. It kind of depends. Like if I'm making a big meal like that, sometimes it's nice to be able to like stick them in the oven and just let them sit at like 250 for a little while I'm doing other things. And so anyway, that's what I'm going to be making. And then I did get one of the gals in town. She makes cakes and treats and things like that, and she made Mike's cupcakes for his baptism, and I've gotten chocolate covered strawberries from her before. And anyway, she makes beautiful and amazing little treats. Well, she has this lemon cake that she makes that I have not tried yet, but lemon cakes are one of my favorite things. There was a place that used to make this amazing one in California, in Ramona, where we lived, and it was this little bakery shop, and she made these amazing lemon cakes and this chantilly cream, and it was like the bomb. And when I used to get it for several years in a row, that was what we would have, you know, at Thanksgiving. That was our dessert, which I know isn't like a traditional, like it's not, you know, pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie, and I used to make those every year, but Frankie doesn't really like sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie. And Mike is sort of like about it. My dad was always the same way, although I did make a sweet potato pumpkin cheesecake pie that my dad actually really liked, because he said it didn't taste like any three of those things. It became like its own entity, and then that one he liked. But I haven't made that in a few years now, because they just don't like pumpkin and sweet potato very much. So even when I make my side of sweet potatoes for us, I'll make like a really small amount, because they'll eat like a spoonful of it, and they'll be like, oh, that's enough sweet potato for me. So, which is fine. You know, when you make sweet potato pie or sweet potato casserole, or just sweet potato side, you know what I'm talking about, like traditionally with the marshmallows and the brown sugar and all it's not super healthy anymore. It's not like you took an actual sweet potato and, like, you know, baked it and then like maybe put a little bit of butter and, like, you know, salt and pepper on it and had it like that. It's not, you're kind of losing some of the health benefits when you add 4 pounds of sugar to it. But it's one day. It's one day a year. And I normally make my homemade cranberry sauce, which I may still do. Even though they, again, will eat about a tablespoon of it. They love it, but it's one of those things you just can't eat a lot of it. I think I'm still gonna make some. Because I rather have cranberry sauce, and I make a really good homemade one. I never liked homemade cranberry sauces until I found this recipe and tweaked it. And now I've made it every year for the last, I don't know how many years, probably around 15 years. I've been making the same cranberry sauce, and I just love it. And it makes your house smell amazing when you do it, because you simmer it on the stove with orange and clove, and it's just, yeah, it's so good. And a little maple syrup, and it's so good. Anyway, and it's one of those things, and it's nice because you can make it up to a week ahead of time. I mean, I don't usually make it that far in advance. If I'm doing like a big meal for, you know, or whatever, I'll maybe make it 3 or 4 days in advance so that it's still like edible for a few days after the event. But it's got to have time to like sit and gel in the fridge, and it's so good. So good. You smear a little bit of that on your turkey when you're making a sandwich the next day, and you're golden. I think it's better than gravy. Certainly better than store-bought gravy. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, I don't know this week how many sippin' and spillins I'll be putting out, but we'll see. So just if I don't end up making another one this week, I probably will. I'll probably make one on Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, if just by chance I don't see you guys again, well, I will see you guys, because I'll be there. We'll be live on Wednesday night, which I just remembered, because in my brain we weren't, but we are. Because we didn't say we weren't. So I think we are. I'm sure we are. I'll figure that out. I'm sure we are. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you all are having an amazing week. I hope you get to spend it with your friends and your family. And I hope you get all the yummy treats that you've been looking forward to all year. And may your pants still fit you afterwards. Have a blessed day, you guys. And as always, safety's off.